Okay, so economics is the study of agents and behavior. So we have two types of agents, consumers and producers. So initially we'll delve into the just the consumer side of the story and how consumers are going to make their decisions. So first some basic notations. The first one is consumption set. So consumption set is set of all alternatives or complete consumption plans that the consumer can conceive, whether some of them will be achievable in practice or not. So consumption set is theoretically everything that you can consume. So for example, if you are talking about a consumer who's consuming two goods, let's say butter and milk. Okay, so he is consuming only two goods, butter and milk. Okay, so let's assume that butter and milk are available in all real number quantities. So butter belongs to all positive real numbers r plus. So we talked about r plus. R plus is basically the set from 0 to infinity, and milk also belongs to the set r plus. Okay, so when we talk about consumption set, butter can be any quantity on the y-axis and milk can be any quantity on the x-axis. Okay, so he can pick any point on the x-axis, that becomes his quantity of milk. He picks any quantity on the y-axis, that becomes his quantity of butter. So technically he can, theoretically he can consume any quantity on this entire first quadrant. Okay, so the first quadrant of the Cartesian plane, every point is a feasible bundle that he can demand. Okay, so there is no restriction as such ki which points he can choose. He can pick any point on the entire consumption bundle. So that's true if the goods are milk and butter. So in this situation we say that the consumption set is basically the set of all Cartesian products m comma b. So we talked about Cartesian products in the last class. So all Cartesian products m comma b such that m belongs to r plus and b belongs to r plus. So that's how we write the consumption set of the agent. So we are saying that m and b both belong to r plus, and any Cartesian product is a valid consumption point in the consumption set. For example, you take the point 3 comma 4. So the point 3 comma 4, what does it represent? It represents that the consumer is consuming 3 units of milk and 4 units of butter. Okay, so it will be a point like this. It will be a point like this, 3 comma 4. Okay. There could be another point 4 comma 3. Okay, so 4 comma 3 means 4 units of milk and 3 units of butter, so it will be a point like this, 4 comma 3. These are two different points. Okay, 3 comma 4 and 4 comma 3 are different points. Okay, because these are different elements in the consumption set. 3 units of milk and 4 units of butter is different from 3 units of butter and 4 units of milk. So the when you're talking about Cartesian product of different sets, then arrangement matters. So Cartesian product is ordered pair. So these are two different bundles. So he can consume any bundle. These are just example of two of the bundles that he can consume. Now let's take the example wherein, let's say, he does not have butter but he has eggs. Okay, so instead of milk he has eggs as the other choice. Okay, now eggs are not available in any real number quantity because you can only consume integral amount of eggs. So butter is available in any real number quantity, right? So you can go, theoretically you can go and ask the shop owner to give you 3.5 units of butter. How he is going to give it, we are not concerned with that right now, because obviously he should have weights to measure 3.5 units. You can even ask theoretically for √2 units of butter. Okay, so there's no mathematical problem in allotting √2 units of butter. So technically he can, technically he might not be able to give it, but theoretically we say that you can ask for √2 amounts of butter. So butter is available in any quantity on the y-axis, but eggs on the other hand, they are only available in positive integral values or non-negative integral values. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that you cannot ask for any amount of eggs. You cannot go and ask for 3.5 eggs. You have to ask only integral values. So eggs are available in 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, 8, 9, so on. So eggs are only available in integral values. So if you look at the consumption set now, initially it was the entire Cartesian plane, the first quadrant of the Cartesian plane. Now it won't be the entire first quadrant. The consumption set will look like vertical lines. Okay, so it will look like this. Only points along these lines are going to be valid. The reason is that if you take a point which does not belong on these lines, let's say this point, you are asking for 4.5 units of butter, eggs, which is not feasible. Okay, so nobody can give you 4.5 eggs. So this point does not belong to the consumption set anymore. So the points on the consumption set belong to these lines, and this y-axis will also be included in it. So the set of all points are these vertical lines. Okay, so these are all the valid consumption set points which you can ask for. Okay. Now it's possible that one of these points would be like too unimaginable, like somebody going and asking for 1 billion eggs. Now the entire planet might not have 1 billion eggs on it at one point of time, but we are saying that we are not talking about the production capacities here. We are saying, is it mathematically feasible to ask for 1 billion eggs or not? So billion eggs and billion units of butter is a valid point in this consumption set. What is not a valid point is 4.5 units of eggs. Okay, 4.5 units of eggs is not a valid point in my consumption set. Okay. So how do you write this consumption set? So I can write this consumption set as eggs comma butter, such that eggs belongs to Z plus and butter belongs to R plus. Okay, so that's how you can write the consumption set. So these kind of notations are important to understand, because in exams you will get notations of sets in this format. Okay, they'll define a set, and by looking at this set you should be able to realize what he's talking about. So forget all the diagrams and all the explanations which I give you. If I just give you this blue highlighted part, that consumption set is E comma B, E belongs to Z plus and B belongs to R plus, from this you should be able to create a image in your mind about what the set should look like. Okay, so that's what's expected of you. Okay. Now let's go one step ahead, and now let's make both the goods as discrete goods. Okay, so in this situation eggs are what we call as discrete goods. Okay, and butter was a homogeneous good. So butter is something we call as a homogeneous good. But let's say we go ahead and we get rid of butter as well, and now we make both the goods as discrete goods. Okay, so instead of butter, let's say we take another good called let's say bread, which is also a discrete good. So it is also belonging to Z plus. Okay. Discrete goods. Okay, discrete goods are basically, the word discrete means different. So discrete goods are goods which are available in whole number quantities. Okay, so discrete goods are goods which you cannot buy in any real number quantity. For example, washing machines. You cannot go in the market and say give me 1.5 washing machine. It's not possible to give you 1.5 washing machine. But milk is a homogeneous good, and theoretically we say that you can ask for milk in any real number quantity depending on the measuring device of the of the person who is giving it to you. You can ask for 1/3 units of milk, or you can ask for half units of milk, or any √2 units of milk. So milk, butter, these are goods which are available in which are called homogeneous goods. So word homogeneous would mean, you will see, encounter this word homogeneous a lot of times. Okay, you will encounter the word homogeneous a lot of times. Whenever you read the word homogeneous, the examiner is basically trying to say that all real quantities are valid answers. So suppose he is talking about washing machines and the final answer is 11 by 3 washing machines. Now you might think, how can somebody get 11 by 3 washing machine? Now if the examiner mentions the word homogeneous, you know that 11 by 3 is okay, he is going to accept my answer. Okay, so homogeneous word means it is perfectly divisible. So homogeneous word is always also can also be substituted with the word divisible, perfectly divisible. Okay, so homogeneous is also synonymous to perfectly divisible, whereas discrete means you are only going to buy it in whole number quantities, either 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 or so on. So let's assume bread is also a discrete good, that it is also available in whole number quantities. So in that situation, what will happen is, you can consume these green dots will represent the amount of eggs you can consume, and these red dots, they represent the amount of bread you can consume. Okay, now if you want to look at what the consumption set will look like, so what do you guys think the consumption set will look like? Anybody wants to take a guess?
It will be points connected with dotted lines.
Yeah, exactly, very good. So so what the consumption set will look like is, suppose I draw these lines. Okay, so these are all the lines for bread, and then I draw the lines for eggs. Okay, so all the intersection points, they will represent the valid consumption set points. Okay, so the intersection points, so these points, so these are going to be your valid consumption set points. Okay, so nothing in between, only these points, not the grid lines, just the points. Okay, so I have drawn the lines just to get my grid points, so including points on the axis. So that's what the consumption set will be. Okay, so that's your consumption set. The next important thing that we need is consumption plan or consumption bundle. Okay, mostly we'll only deal with homogeneous goods. Okay, unless otherwise clearly stated in the exam that you assume the good to be discrete, the default is it's homogeneous. If nothing is mentioned, homogeneous. We will always assume homogeneous goods. So in case of homogeneous goods, our consumption set is always going to be r plus to the power n, where n represents the number of commodities you are talking about, number of commodities. Okay, so r plus is coming from each, and r plus represents the valid quantity of valid possible quantities of each and every good. R plus to the power n is the Cartesian product of quantities of each and every good, so r plus to the power n. So that's going to be your default consumption set if you are talking about n goods. So uh, mostly I have never encountered discrete goods. Okay, so I have, there's just one question in DSC or and one in ISI in the past 15 years or so, wherein they are talking about discrete goods. So we'll always stick to homogeneous goods unless it is clearly stated that you have to assume discrete goods. Okay. Now consumption bundle. So consumption bundle is basically, if suppose you have goods X and Y, so from now onwards, I'm always going to assume homogeneous goods. So everything, the entire world for us is homogeneous. We'll never come back to discrete goods unless the question or the examiner asks us of it. Uh, okay, so consumption bundle for goods X and Y is going to be the entire first quadrant, this entire area. Now consumption bundle is basically any point here that the agent has decided to choose. So consumption bundle, let me call it B, is the point on the consumption set that the agent chooses. Okay, so that's your consumption bundle. So it could be a point like 4 comma 5. So let's say this agent decides to consume 4 units of x and 5 units of y. So 4 comma 5 becomes the consumption bundle. Okay.